It's been an interesting week for me. Well, I went from bear territory into another mountainous territory, but specifically more of the mountain lion. I honestly feel more comfortable around cats than bears. Maybe it's because that's my totem animal, one of my main totems. But yeah, it's interesting though. The energy shift was incredible. Me and Opie went on a hike this morning and it was potent. So it inspired me to chat with you guys on my spirit animal and what I've learned. This is not the easiest totem animal to carry because you have an aspect of yourself that is extremely wild, and our, I don't know, societal thinking, the norm, we really want to shame that. Like when we see catty females, like we don't like that. And it's been something that I've had to kind of rewire in me, is to honor my cattiness, but also just coming more into balance with, using smarter hunting techniques, being more intelligent instinctually. The snow leopard is a really good example of that. If you've ever seen them hunt, it's insane. They literally hurl themselves over cliffs so that they can, go drop down onto their prey, and they unlock joints and hinges in their bodies so that they sustain less injury. So their instincts are really honed in on what they're trying to do before they make that leap. Because a lot of times it can be a life or death leap. But learning to use those instincts, and like I said, like learning to draw back on that cattiness, choosing your battles wisely. That's something the cats have really taught me. Yeah, you can fight, but is it a smart fight? Is it worth your time? Is it going to bring more positive energy into your life as a result of your actions? And so I really honor that. It's funny because my first tattoo ever was of this snow leopard, and it's very lifelike. It looks very real, and I thought to myself, like, wow, I'm just loving my tattoo. And my first day at work, I had a job at a place where they literally like wanted you to look like models or something, and they did not like my tattoo. And I knew that I was embarking on a new journey in my life. I knew that I was going to build a sleeve, and it was going to be part of my medicine, and it was something that I felt strongly that I wanted to do. And I knew I was going to have to get out of alignment with those corporations, businesses, people, thought streams and beliefs that go against that. And so my snow leopard was the foundation of that. And it really speaks to me of like, yes, this is a heavy energy. This is heavy totem. Not everyone likes this. Not everyone wants to see this. But this is me. And I'm really glad that I have this. I have this medicine in me. Now, speaking of how I received this medicine, shortly after I got my art on my arm, I was in a place where the mountain lion, their territory is very like thick. They're very much roaming this specific area that I lived in. So I had a little cabin, a little house, and it backed up to the forest. And one night, as I was asleep, a male mountain lion, I knew it was a male because I looked out my window and it was skinny as hell, kind of looked like a deer. That's how skinny it was, but it was definitely a mountain lion. And my house had a little area underneath that you could it was like a crawl space under the house, and basically that mountain lion had spotted a critter. I think it was a skunk or a raccoon, and it went after it and cornered it underneath my house while I was asleep in my bed. And so you can imagine the sounds that came from that little animal as it was being ripped and shredded, torn apart. And I had to really question this event because I was in shock. It was the scariest thing. I wanted to jump out of my bed. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if this thing was going to like burst through the window or what. Like, that's how ferocious the energy was. And, it showed me the fire, the hunger of a lion, a wild animal. That beast had not eaten, and it literally found its prey right underneath my house where I was sleeping in my bed. And I got to feel its devouring, it getting a tiny second of satisfaction, of relief of that hunger. And that's what God wanted to show me. It was the scariest thing. Like, no, it's like probably top 10. I've had a lot of animal encounters, but like that right there was like, whew, that's when I knew I got into the Lion Kingdom. Now, another event came afterwards. I moved out of that house. Like, I was living off grid in nature in the forest. And this experience was intense because I didn't have any like protection. I had just started living on the land. I just bought my truck. I didn't have a shell on it, and I was living in a tent. I had just rolled up like way deep into the forest. I would just drive up after my work shift. And so it was really late at night, and I didn't have time to put up my tent. I was just exhausted. And sometimes when it was good weather, I would just roll out my sleeping pad in the bed of my truck, and we would just conk out for the night. But this particular night, oh my God, the type of sounds, cries, and shrieks that can come from a lioness are out of this world. And I began hearing that. I woke up just very confidently aware that I was hearing a cat crying in the background. And it was moving closer to the truck. And like I said, I didn't have a shell. I didn't have anywhere to go into to like bunker down. I was just like chilling in the back of this truck bed. The thing is that you don't have anywhere to hide. They already know you're there. And I feel like this particular experience was just a test of fear. I got so down as far possible low in my truck and just prayed that she wouldn't jump up and maul my back. I knew that could be a possibility, and it was extremely close. We were just shaking, and it was like I said, a test of fear. We didn't have an encounter, but I got to hear the cries very up close, and that's enough. I will tell you, mountain lion medicine is about stepping into that power. I was thankful to hear that cry, because even in the depths of that lion's despair, whatever it was crying about, or maybe it was a mating call, it was just so powerful. Like, I'm just learning to use that energy, even though it's scary, even though other people are put off by that. Learning to like balance that energy will make you less of a prey for others. I really lost that at one point. I think that's like what spirit is calling of me, like being in this territory now, just feeling the mountain lions all around me. I'm learning that this is powerful. This is important. You being that badass that has the confidence to jump off that ledge and go get what you want, that's needed at this time, and that's what I'm choosing for myself. I'm very much aligned with my deer medicine, but I've learned that mountain lion, when I tune into that, I can really shift paradigms.